of your head.
Recovered from its buffeting.
Hi, Tony here, welcome to the channel. Now, if you do follow my channel, you'll know that recently I changed bikes and I've now got a KTM 790 Adventure. And I'm going through the process of changing some of those bits on there to get it to suit me, changing some of the bits I don't like, and getting the bike ready for some touring next year. One of the things I did want to change on the bike was the screen. Now, there's nothing necessarily wrong with the screen on the standard model. It does a pretty good job at keeping the wind off of you. But I found when I was wearing my Shoei Hornet adventure helmet with the peak, I was getting quite a lot of vibrations. When I wore a standard helmet, my GT Air for example, I didn't have too much problem. In an effort to combat that vibration, I already had a Jivy spoiler which I put on top of the windscreen. That seemed to do the trick, but the problem is that because that stock windscreen is only held in by one bolt, although it has a brace on it, it does wobble like anything, and as soon as you put any extra weight on the top of it, it just seems to exacerbate the problem. So that set me out on a search of the internet to see what options were available out there, and there are a huge amount of options available for windscreens for this bike. I picked up on MRA Screens, obviously a very well-known brand, suppliers of windscreens for all types of motorcycles. You'll see their name if you watch some of the onboard footage on MotoGP. So after searching around their website for a little bit, I settled on the sports screen. Now, this is a short screen. It's not as short as the screen that you get on the Adventure R, but it is a little bit shorter than the standard S model screen. It looks wider, which might help with some of that buffeting, and it looks like a very secure mount. So here's how I got on with fitting it, and then we'll talk about what the results are after that. So the screen arrived in a heat shrunk bag, and inside that bag you have the bracket instructions and all of the fittings that you need to get this on your bike. When you compare this screen to the original, you can see, if you ignore the spoiler, it is a little bit shorter, but it is a bit wider and it's got broader shoulders. The first job obviously is to undo the single style bolt on the original screen and lift that out of the way and tuck it away somewhere safe. Remove and keep safe the two screws on either side of the GPS mount. Then, using two of the bolts and washers from the kit, you can mount the bracket to that frame and just leave it loose for the time being. You then have two screws and washers in the kit that replace the fittings for the side of the plastic GPS mount. Now you can just straighten and align the mount and then tighten all 6 bolts up nice and snugly, and you can already notice how much more secure this fixing method is. You'll also notice that it gives a bit more room for the GPS should you want to mount that, because it seems to mount the screen further upright. It's then a case of taking the 4 rubber castle nuts from the kit, placing those into the holes on the bracket, and now you can sort out the fixings for the screen. So you've got a bolt and a washer on the outside of the screen, or on the front, and then on the back of the screen you fit the spacer and a small rubber O-ring to hold that spacer into place. Do that for all 4 mounting holes, and then you're ready to just line it up with the bracket and screw it into place, and the job is done. It's that simple. You'll notice immediately how much more rigid this screen is, which can only be a good thing. If you look at the profile, you can see that it does stand a little bit more upright than the standard one. You've also got that extra meat on the side, which should give you a little bit more protection. And it is a nice looking screen, I think.
Okay, so here's the first test. First time out on the bike with the screen. The most evident thing is how much more stable this is than the stock screen. The stock screen does rattle around and it does seem to lean very close into you. This stands the screen further away, and you can see already just how much more rigid this is. So that's a vast improvement, and so far at this speed, 30 miles an hour, I'm getting no wind noise on the helmet, no buffeting. I don't know if it's the fact that it's more upright, because obviously this is slightly shorter than the standard Adventure S screen. It is a bit wider here, so that is going to stop maybe some turbulence. It's certainly going to stop some feeling of wind on the chest, which I do get from the standard one, which is fine. I can live with that. The main problem I had with it was the buffeting in the face, particularly with the peaked helmet. So I'm using this helmet to start with because I've got a camera on here to show you what's going on. I will switch to my peaked Shoei ADV helmet and see if that works, because with the standard screen, that's just, it's unbearable to ride in that. It just resonates off of the peak so much at motorway speed anyway, that it's just a pain. That's making me feel hungry. One thing I can reiterate is just how well made this kit is. The bracket fits perfectly, everything lines up, really good quality equipment, and just the mounting of it is a much better solution than that single screw that you have with the standard screen. Admittedly, once this is in place, you've got no adjustment, but having said that, I didn't really adjust that other one too much anyway. I got in a position which was the best one in terms of wind noise and left it at that. But let's have a look. The acid test really, I guess, is going to be on motorway riding. So let's get on to a dual carriageway where I can get it up to 70 miles an hour. I'm at 70 miles an hour now, and well, the good news is it's pretty good. I've got a little bit of wind noise around the helmet, and I'm not wearing earplugs at the moment because it's quite difficult to talk in a normal voice with my ears plugged in. But so far, at 70 miles an hour, I'm getting no buffeting, no turbulence. I'm getting a little bit of wind noise on the helmet, but it's far better than the stock screen, so that's really good. You can't obviously guarantee that that's going to work for everybody, because everybody's going to be slightly different. Obviously I want to see what it's like with the peaked helmet. See, if I still feel that I need to put the spoiler on the top, then this is a much more robust, stronger screen. So test number 1 with a standard helmet, pass.
I then went on to try the screen with both my Shoei Hornet ADV helmet and the GT Air 2, and I'm pleased to say that the results were just as good. I still got a little bit of noise on the peak with this helmet, and that's down to that screen being the short, but on the GT Air 2 no problems at all. And as you can see from this quick walk around, I think it's a really nice looking screen. Some of the solutions I've seen are not the prettiest, to be honest, but I guess this is more about practicality rather than looks. Although having said that, I think this MRA short sport screen works on both aspects. I hope this has been useful for any 790 adventure riders that don't like the standard screen. The things I like about the MRA screen are the way it fits. It's very secure, you don't get that wobbling, you don't get the screen rattling around as you do with the standard screen, particularly when you're riding off-road. That can be quite tiresome. It also works really well at reducing the buffeting, for me anyway. A lot of people talk about the deflectors underneath the headlight creating a lot of problems with the buffeting, so I might try taking those off to see if that makes any difference. But to be honest, with this screen, I'm quite happy with the setup. And as far as the price goes, I think the MRA screens are very competitive. When I've looked around at what's available on the marketplace, they seem to be around the similar sort of level. And for the quality of the engineering, the material that's used in the screen itself, and the bracket and all the bolts and the instructions, I definitely recommend taking a look at MRA as an option. For extended motorway work, I might look at one of the MRA X screens. They look to be good. I have got the Jivy one, of course, that I can put on top of that, and I've tried that out. That seems to work pretty well, but I think the MRA ones look a little bit better. They've got 2 mounting points instead of just the one single one in the middle, so I may well give those a go. But hopefully, as I say, this has been useful for you. If you've got any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section down below, and until next time, all that leaves me to say is thanks for watching, take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.